Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Purposeful Conversations with Emmy here in the PAMI Code Facebook community. Now, we're going to do something really special today because I know that we've been in lockdown for several weeks now, and we do need a little bit of movement and a little bit of self care, even if we are in isolation. So, I invited our very special guest today. She's a yoga teacher and coach. And she's going to show us, some things that we can do at home and do a little bit of yoga while we are in this situation. So let's all welcome Christina Mattison. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Emmy. Thanks so much for having me. Hi,
well, well,
everybody.
thank you for joining us, and I'm really excited. I don't know if I have enough space. You probably just see my forehead when we try to do the yoga parts later. But tell us a little bit about yoga before we get started, because I've seen people do it, do the stretches and so on. But why is it good for your body and your soul? What is it about yoga that does us good?
Yeah, so that's a great question. A lot of people have a lot of tension that they carry around all day long for days and weeks and months. And so I initially came to yoga as a way to relax. I was very stressed. I was working a very stressful job, and I needed something to help me calm down. So I discovered yoga, and I realized how wonderful it helped me to feel in my body, but also in my mind. Like, for a whole hour, my mind and my racing thoughts were quiet. And I left the classes feeling refreshed. I felt rejuvenated. So scientifically, yoga is great for your body in that it releases muscular tension. We're doing a lot of stretching, but it also builds a lot of strength, especially in some core muscles, like the muscles around the shoulders, the muscles around your hips, and the muscles all in here in your core that supports you all day long. So we strengthen, we stretch, but also the practice of yoga is wonderful for your body physiologically. We have a extra guest.
Hi.
Um, the deep breathing associated with yoga is really wonderful for lowering blood pressure, is really wonderful for releasing stress and anxiety. And it can also really help with mindfulness. And when we're doing the deep breathing, we're also triggering the relaxation response in the body. And the relaxation response is what tells our brain that it's okay to slow down. So it's
Mm.
okay to slow down the heart rate. It's okay to lower the blood pressure. And it also helps improve functions such as your immune system, your digestive system. So all that to say, yoga does a lot of really wonderful things for your body, your mind, and your spirit as well.
That's what's going on in my mind. Actually, I was just gonna say it's a full thing, mind, body, and spirit, and it's the
Yes.
you have the physical element, you have the mindfulness and the deep breathing and the relaxation. But I know that there are some people who might shy away from yoga because they are thinking, oh, look at those stretches. Oh, I don't think I have the physical ability to do that. So, if you are a
Mm.
beginner, what would you advise beginners, to if they're thinking about trying out yoga?
Yeah, so I would definitely encourage you to stay off Instagram. Do not look for Instagram yogis because, to be honest, that's not it. That I would suggest that beginners start by releasing any expectations that you have of yoga. Any like preconceived notions that you might have about, I have to be flexible to you do yoga, or I need to be good at yoga to do yoga. Just go ahead and throw all of those away. And just know that yoga is not about achieving a pose, but yoga is about the experience that you have within the pose. So I would say start by releasing your expectations for the practice. And then you can even start by just looking up beginner yoga on YouTube. There's a lot of really wonderful resources out there. My YouTube channel has a couple yoga practices that are very friendly for beginners. But I would just encourage beginners to not be too intimidated. There's plenty of practices out there that are gentle, that are slow, that really will teach you how to get into and out of the poses safely. And just be kind to your body. You know, don't try to push too advanced too fast, because that's how we get injured. You know, that's how we overstretch. And so I would suggest that if you're a beginner, just start with some really gentle practices. Get curious about your body and the movement of your body, because a lot of us tend to be kind of disconnected from our body. We haven't spent a whole lot of time exploring the way we move and the way we feel in movement. Yeah, so we'll be exploring some new muscles. So be gentle, be kind to yourself, respect your edge. So try not to push past that edge to the point of pain, but just being respectful of the sensation that you're feeling in your body.
Awesome. So maybe we should give it a go. Bear in mind that, you know, our viewers are relatively new at this. Well, we do have some senior viewers as well. So, you know, just bear in mind that, you know, we most of us are beginners, and some might be, you know, need to be a little bit gentle. So I think I'm gonna move my chair away because I want to have a go.
Okay.
You probably won't see me.
Awesome. I'm gonna scoot my camera back so you can see.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to change my audio so I can hear through the speaker. Hang on. Speaker. Yep. Okay, doke. Right. Christina, are you there?
Yep.
Excellent.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Okay. Let's put
Awesome. So go ahead and find a comfortable seat. You don't need any special props for this practice. You really don't even need a yoga mat for what we're going to do today. You could even do this sitting in a chair, especially if you have trouble sitting down cross-legged. And you could also grab a pillow or a couch cushion and sit up on the edge of that pillow or couch cushion if sitting cross-legs is painful for your hips or low back. So once you found your comfortable seat, either in your chair or down on the floor, we're gonna let the hands rest on our thighs or knees, and we're gonna start with some breathing exercises. So at first, I don't want you to feel like you have to do anything special with the breath. I just want you to either close your eyes or just come into like a soft gaze down the tip of your nose and begin to notice your breathing, just observing the cadence and the pattern of your breath as you inhale and exhale. And as we begin to notice our breath, as we begin to observe it more closely, you may notice that your breath begins to shift and change. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. So we breathe in through the nose and out through the nose most of the time in our yoga practice. So if you're feeling a little congested, that's okay. You can feel free to breathe through the mouth if necessary, but we try to breathe in and breathe out through the nose if possible. As you breathe in, allow your belly to expand and your ribs to expand with your inhale. And then as you exhale, everything softens, belly button pulls back and in towards the spine. Breathing in and breathing out. And now let's see if we can slowly elongate our inhales and exhales. So maybe slowing down the breath a little bit now, breathing fully into the belly, fully into the chest and ribs, as if your lungs were a balloon that you wanted to expand with your breath. And then exhale slowly and completely, trying to make your inhales and exhales an equal length. We'll just spend a few more rounds of breath here, just observing and noticing, allowing your breathing to slow down, to get longer, more luxurious. And now let's shift our attention to the sensations that you might be feeling in your body. So just do a quick check-in through your body, noticing if you feel any places of tension or tightness or gripping or holding. And see if you can send your attention and your breath to one of those places. See if you can use your breath to allow that space to soften and release. And if that space is not ready to soften and release just yet, that's okay too. We'll take one more long breath in, filling up the belly, the chest, all the way up under the collarbones, full of breath. And then exhale all the way, pushing all the air out of the lungs. Great. If you have the eyes closed, you can allow them to gently blink open. And we're going to take our hands and interlace them in front of the body and turn the palms out towards the front of the room. And then as you breathe in, allow your hands to press up towards the ceiling, allowing your shoulders to rise and your shoulder blades to glide up, opening through the shoulders as much as it feels good in your body. So if that means you're just here, that's okay too. We really want to respect the edge here, respect the range of motion of the shoulders today. So rooting down through your seat, pressing up through the hands, getting long through the spine. On your exhale, let's bring the palms back down to the lap. We're going to come into a gentle twist now. So take your left hand to the outside of your right knee, and then take that right hand behind you to sit on the ground or on your chair. Inhale to get tall through the spine, lifting up through the crown of your head. As you exhale, gently twist towards the right. So we want to keep the space where our heart and lungs are, we want to keep that stacked over the bowl of our pelvis, and we want to keep the crown of head stacked over our heart. So notice if you start to lean back here. And if that's the case, try to actually bring the torso forward in space. And that might mean you need to sit up on a pillow or cushion. So you can keep the gaze straight ahead, or you can take the gaze over the right shoulder if that feels safe for your neck. And we'll take one more deep inhale, one more full exhale, and then we'll come back to the center, and then we'll take it to the other side. So now take the right hand to the outside of the left knee, sweep that left hand behind to rest on the floor or chair. Inhale, get tall, reach up through the top of the head, and exhale to twist to the left. Good. Rooting down through your sit bones. Lengthen your tailbone down towards the floor. Lengthen up through the crown of your head. See if you can find a little bit more space in between the vertebrae of the spine. Awesome. One more breath here. Moving the ribs out of the way as you breathe in, and exhaling all the way to come back to center. So let's come into the neck a little bit. Let's stretch out through the neck. So we're going to take the left hand out to the side. So that might mean it comes down to the mat. It might mean it comes down to the floor or onto the side of your chair. And then we're going to take the right ear towards the right shoulder. So just allow the side of the neck to open up. And if this feels too intense, then just take the hand back to your lap, and that'll decrease the intensity of the stretch through the neck just a little bit. Good. And we want to really open up through the side of the neck here. So think about moving this shoulder away from the ear, opening up through that left side. And then we're going to play with the position of our chin. So take that chin, moving it down towards your hip on your right side. And then slowly bring the chin back to center, and then lift it up towards the ceiling, noticing how that changes the stretch. And then we're just going to play with kind of taking the chin down and then the chin up, keeping the right ear pinned towards the right shoulder, and find the place where the stretch feels the most interesting or the best, where you just feel that really nice stretch, where you feel like you want to hang out. And then let's just hang out for 2 breaths. Good. One more breath, opening up through that side of the neck. And then slowly bringing the head back to center, maybe using the bottom hand to help it back up. If you need to, take both hands back to the center. And then we'll switch sides. So now take the right hand out to the side, either down onto the floor or your chair. And then we're going to take the left ear towards the left shoulder, opening up through the right side of the neck now. Just breathing here. Creating space in this side of the neck, moving this shoulder away, and making sure this other shoulder stays relaxed too. One more breath here before we move through the chin. And then we're gonna dip the chin down towards that left hip. And then slowly bring that chin up, keeping the ear down towards the shoulder as we take the chin up towards the ceiling, taking the gaze up, and then take it back down towards the hip. And again, just playing with the position of the chin here. So maybe moving back and forth between the two positions until you settle on a space that really feels nice, a stretch that you want to spend some time in. And we'll take 2 breaths here. Breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the nose. Last breath. And then we'll slowly bring the head back to center and bring the hands back into the lap. So now we're going to transition into tabletop position, which means we'll be on our hands and knees. So I like to have a blanket underneath my knees for this pose. It's for a little bit of extra cushion. If you're on a carpet, that might not be as big of a deal for you, but if you're on a hardwood floor, grab something soft to place underneath your knees. Now we want to stack our wrists underneath our shoulders, and we want to stack our knees underneath our hips. So here in tabletop position, we're pressing into the tops of our feet, pressing into the tops of the shins. Now, if you experience any sort of wrist pain in this posture, feel free to walk the hands slightly in front of the shoulders to decrease the intensity of the crease through your wrist. So now we're gonna come into one of my favorite poses, which is called cat-cow. So on your inhale, what you're gonna do is lift your seat up towards the ceiling. So the tailbone lifts towards the ceiling, the belly drops towards the floor, and then you're gonna bring the heart forward through your upper arms, taking your gaze about 5 or 6 feet in front of you. And then on your exhale, you're gonna lengthen your tailbone down towards the space between your knees, and you're gonna round your spine up towards the ceiling, bringing your chin in towards the chest for cat pose. Great, let's inhale back to that cow shape. So allowing the belly to travel towards the floor, reaching up through the hips, arching through the spine, drawing the heart forward, keeping some length in the back of the neck, cow pose. And then as you exhale, press into the hands, press into the tops of the feet, rounding through the spine, arching it up towards the ceiling, chin into chest. Good. Let's take 2 more rounds. So inhale to your cow shape, reach the heart forward, draw the heads of the shoulders back, lift the tailbone up. Exhale, press through the hands, round, 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 spreading through the shoulder blades. Good. Inhale, last round, coming forward to your cow, reaching your heart forward between your arms, lifting your sit bones up, spreading them apart. Exhale, rounding the spine up towards the ceiling, drawing the belly button towards the spine for cat pose. Great. Let's inhale back to center. So we'll return to tabletop once more. We're going to take your left leg and we're going to grab it with our left hand and we're going to step that left foot gently forward to come into a low lunge. So you can play with the intensity here. The more you have that back knee behind you, the more intense the stretch in the right hip flexor is going to be. So you can keep the hands down on the floor here, or you can walk the hands up onto the thigh and see how that feels for you. And then we want to square our hips towards the short end of the mat, or I guess you want to take the left hip back or the right hip forward if you're not on a mat. And we want to stack that left knee directly over the left ankle and track the center of the knee over the midline of the foot. Now, if you want a little bit more of an intense of a stretch in that right hand or right hip flexor, you'll walk that right knee a little bit further back and then come up. Good. You can leave the hands on the hips. You can take the hands to prayer at heart center, or you can reach the arms forward and up for low lunge, reaching up through the fingertips, letting the hips drop down towards the floor, but still resisting the floor a little bit, pressing into the back shin and the front foot to create some resistance. Good. We'll hold this for one more breath. And then on your exhale, you'll bring the hands back down to the floor. And we're going to take a little hamstring stretch. So pressing the hips back, lifting the left toes up towards the ceiling. We're going to reach and flex through that left foot. And we're going to feel a little stretch in the hamstring. It's okay to have a little bend in your knee here because that protects the hamstring from being overstretched. So just kind of play with this position here, see how it feels for you. And then when you're ready, we'll walk the hands back forward. And then we're going to step that left foot back to return to tabletop. So however you need to get there safely, let's come back to our tabletop position. And we're going to switch sides. So take that right leg, step it forward in between the hands. Good. And so you should have about a hip width stance in between your legs. Right knee stacked over the right ankle. Good. And when you're ready, you can walk the hands up onto the top of the right thigh. Good. Making sure your right knee is stacked over the ankle and the knee is tracking over the second and third toe, midline of the foot. Good. Lengthen the tailbone down, draw that belly button up and in. You may want to sink deeper into the pose if that feels okay. Or you may want to stay a little bit lifted, whatever the pose needs to be for you today. And then you can take the hands to prayer if you like. You can leave them on the hips, or you can extend them up and overhead for your low lunge. Extending through the spine, reaching the crown of head up, lengthening the tailbone down towards the floor. Awesome. One more breath. And then on your next exhale, we'll take the hands back down to the floor to frame the foot, and we'll press into that hamstring stretch. So press the hips back, lift the right toes up towards the ceiling, stretching through the back of that right leg, little micro bend in the knee is okay here. You can soften through the joint to make sure we're not overstretching the hamstrings. Awesome. One more breath here. Good, and then we'll come back forward onto the right foot and we'll step that right foot back to come to your tabletop, and then we'll sit the hips off to one side to come back down to seated. Good, so let's do a little bit of work in the arms. So I want you to take the arms alongside the body. We're going to inhale to sweep the arms down, around, and up, keeping the arms in your peripheral vision. So you can see them out of the corner of your eyes, reaching up through the fingertips, and then press the palms together. Exhale the hands through heart center to come all the way back down to your sides. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, sweep the arms down, around, and up. Bring the palms together. Exhale through the center line of the body. Awesome. Last time. Inhale the arms down, around, and up. Reaching up through the fingers, rooting down through your sit bones. Bring the palms together. Draw the hands in prayer through to heart center and down to your sides. Awesome. Let's extend the arms out at your sides, and then I want you to turn the palms up towards the ceiling. And then I want you to turn the palms down towards the floor, rotating through the shoulders. Good. Let's turn the palms back up. And then turn the palms down. If you want to add a little bit of a spine movement to this, I'll show you from the side. As you turn the palms up, maybe arch through the spine just slightly, drawing the heart forward, expanding through the chest. And then as you turn the palms down, maybe coming into just a little bit of a rounding through the spine, kind of coming into that cat pose once more, drawing the chin in towards the chest. Awesome. Inhale the palms up, open through the chest, reaching back through the hands. And then as you exhale, turn the palms down, thumbs face towards the floor, maybe even turning them behind you a little bit, rounding through the spine, the upper back. Awesome, let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, turn the palms up, expand through the chest, open up. Exhale, turn the palms down, round through the spine, spread the shoulder blades just a little. Last time, inhale the palms up, open through the chest. Good. Exhale, turn the palms down, open through the space in between your shoulder blades, open the space behind the heart center. Good. And let's come back to the center and release the hands down. Awesome job. Okay, we're going to do one more shoulder stretch, which I'm going to show you from the front, and then I'm going to show you from the side. So I want you to take your arms into a goalpost shape. So elbows bent 90 degrees. So you'll have a couple options for this depending on your mobility. So the first option is to just give yourself a hug with one arm on top. So this is option number 1, to just hug yourself. Now option number 2 is going to be to bring the elbows toward each other, and then you're going to tuck the left elbow inside of the right elbow, and you're going to bring the backs of your arms together. This is option 2. Now option 3 is to take those right fingertips and tuck them into the left palm. See if you can actually tuck those fingertips into the palm like so. And this is eagle arms. This is a half version of the standing balance pose called eagle pose. And I'll show you what this looks like from the side. So you see here that I'm pressing my elbows away from my body. I'm spreading through my shoulder blades. And you have the option here to take a little dip through the chin as well. And like I said before, if this is not working for you, you have the option to just give yourself a hug, and this will stretch through your shoulders as well. So let's take one more breath here, pressing the arms together, pressing the elbows together, stretching through the back of the neck. And then we'll release back everything down to your sides, and then we're going to switch sides. If you were giving yourself a hug, just put the other arm on top. Okay, so then we'll come back into that goalpost shape, and we're going to do the second side. So this time the left elbow is going to be on the bottom, so catch the right elbow inside of the left elbow. Take the backs of the hands together. Option to stay here, and option to tuck the left fingertips into that right palm. Awesome. So pressing the elbows away from the body, pressing the forearms together, pressing into the hands, spreading through your shoulder blades, maybe dipping the chin slightly in towards the chest to give yourself a little stretch through the back of the neck. Good. Breathe into that space between your shoulder blades. Allow it to expand with your in-breath and soften with your out-breath. One more breath here. And then let's release everything down. So I'm going to show you one more stretch. And this one you can do sitting in a chair, or you can do down on the floor. So if you're sitting in a chair, what you'll do is I'm going to try to imagine that I'm like sitting up in a chair. So you'll keep your left foot down on the floor, and then you're going to take your right ankle and you're going to cross it over the left knee. So this is what it'll look like if you're sitting in a chair. If you're sitting down on the floor, you'll kind of do the same thing, except you'll just extend the left leg out. The foot is flexed, and then you'll take the right ankle over to overhang the left knee. So that bony part on the outside of your ankle, you actually want that to be overhanging the thigh or the knee. So I have my ankle placed just a little bit above my knee. And then if you feel a stretch here, if you're like, wow, I really feel this in my hip, you can stay here. Or if you'd like a little bit more, you can start to hinge the torso forward, keeping that long spine. So I'll show you from the side. We don't want to round through the spine here. Instead, we want to elongate the spine and then hinge forward. And you'll find that really quickly, you're going to find that stretch in your hamstring and through the right hip. So we just want to breathe into that sensation. If you notice that that sensation is beginning to turn into pain, then just back off a little bit, back out of it just slightly so that you just feel sensation. Breathe into that space, breathe into where you're feeling that sensation for one more breath. And then we're going to inhale to come back up, and you'll safely uncross the ankle. You'll either come back to both feet on the floor if you're sitting on a chair, or you'll come back with the legs extended. And then we'll take it to the other side. So right leg stays straight this time, or right foot resting on the floor. And you'll take the left ankle, crossing it over. And we want to keep this left foot flexed, because if we just let it relax, then we're putting extra tension on the knee joint. So I want you to keep that left foot flexed. The toes are reaching back towards the knee. And then we're going to overhang the ankle over the thigh. You see I have it placed a little bit above my knee. And then we want to sit tall, pressing down through the sit bones, lengthening up through the crown of the head. If you feel sensation here, feel free to stay. If you'd like to hinge forward and deepen the pose, feel free to do so. Trying to bring the belly towards the thigh rather than the forehead towards the shin. That way we keep our spine long and we don't try to round forward to reach our forehead all the way down towards the floor. So maintaining the integrity of the spine, keeping space in between your low ribs and your pelvis, the belly's soft as we inhale and exhale. Inhale once more and breathe out. Good. We'll safely uncross the ankles and we'll come back into a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. If you're sitting in the chair, just make your way back to a comfortable seat. If you're sitting down on the floor, you can come into cross legs. If you'd like to sit up on a blanket or a pillow or cushion like we did at the beginning, go ahead and do so. And we're just going to close our eyes here for a moment or come into a soft gaze down the tip of your nose. And I just want you to take a moment to observe the body, observe the breath, observe the thoughts of your mind. Breathing in and breathing out. So we're going to come into a breathing technique called the 3-part breath. So what I want you to do is on your inhale, we're going to inhale a third of the way into the belly. So I want you to inhale into the belly, and then we're going to inhale the 2/3 of the way into the chest. And then we're going to inhale the rest of the way to fill the whole torso with breath. And then we're going to exhale all the way in one breath. Good. So let's do that again. Inhale a third of the way into the belly. Inhale into the chest. Inhale all the way fully into the whole torso. And then exhale through the nose or the mouth. Great. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale 1/3 belly. Inhale 2/3 chest. Inhale the rest of the way, all the way up underneath the collarbones, and exhale out through the nose or mouth, side out. Last one. Inhale partway into the belly. Inhale partway filling the chest. Inhale fully, taking in as much air as you can. Take it all in, get so full with breath, and exhale all the way through the nose or the mouth. Awesome. Let's all bring our hands to prayer at heart center, thumbs pressed in towards the chest. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share some yoga with you today. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And namaste.
Namaste. Thank you very much, Christina. Well, I'm coming back to my chair.
Okay.
that was wonderful. I mean, I see all sorts of videos and photos about yoga, and it can be quite intimidating. I mean, for me, I consider myself a very flexible person. I mean, I was a gymnast, so I do a lot of stretches and stuff. But, those poses are like, oh my goodness, how do they do that? But this one, it's a really good starting point, just being aware of your body, being aware of your muscles, and the calmness of the breathing, just breathing in, breathing out, and your instruction, and the way you coach as well, being very specific with which hand, which side, which body part, it's actually quite reassuring, and it's not intimidating at all. So that was really refreshing. So thank you for sharing that with us, Christina. If
Thank
people
you so much.
get in touch with you, or if they want to see more, if you have any online classes at the moment, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so you can find me on social media. I'm Rolling Oaks Yoga. So Rolling Oaks Yoga on Facebook. I'm also Rolling Oaks Yoga on Instagram. And then I have this really wonderful Facebook group meant for women, busy women. And my goal in this Facebook group is to empower busy women to take ownership of their physical health and their mental well-being through creating long-term sustainable wellness practices and transforming their relationship with themselves. And I do this through the practices of yoga, meditation, and mindfulness. And so this group is called Slowing Down and Finding Peace. And it's really meant for the busy women, for the busy woman. And so my classes are a little bit shorter. They're very instructional. They're meant for beginner and maybe advanced beginner practitioners. And it's just a really wonderful place to be. We try to really build each other up and really build a community of trust and empowerment. And so if that's something that your listeners or your members of your group would be interested in, I would welcome them into my group as an opportunity to just practice more yoga and have the opportunity to explore more classes for free. The group is free. It's there to serve others. So they're more than welcome to join if that's something they're interested in.
That's wonderful. Well, I'll leave the details in the description. So if anyone is interested, just have a look at the description and the link will be there. So thank you very much again, Christina. And to everyone who's watching this, I know I hope that you are keeping well and keeping safe at home right now. If you're feeling a little bit anxious, this is a really good way to actually, stretch your muscles a bit, and be more aware of your body, your mind, and your spirit. And this is a beginner yoga. It was quite gentle, and, breathing and just some really basic poses. So have a go. You can repeat this over and over again. I had a go. So it's, it was really quite good. So thanks, Christina. Thanks, everyone. And we'll catch up again next time for another purposeful conversations here in the Pami Code Facebook group. Until then, take care and bye for now. Bye. Bye-bye.